My name is Father Louis Pavlicek. I'm retired, living in residence at St. William's in Round Rock. Happy to be here with you this morning. Scripture readings that we hear during the Mass sometimes are kind of out of context, and we have to struggle to try to understand them. We have to go back to the context. But I think the readings for this weekend are pretty clear, are they not? First reading is from the book of Ecclesiastes. There's a section in the Old Testament called Wisdom Literature, 7 books, and Ecclesiastes is one of them. You may have heard a passage from Ecclesiastes. There's a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to make war, a time to make peace. That's from Ecclesiastes. Today, we hear of Koheleth. That's a Hebrew word meaning somebody who assembles people, like a teacher. As you listen to the reading, wow, this guy is kind of grumpy, isn't he? Has a pessimistic outlook on life and on the work that we do. Vanity. It's all vanity. Now, most of the time in our contemporary use of that word, when we say someone is vain, we kind of say, well, they're concerned about their appearance. But the root word in the Hebrew means like breath. You know, when it's cold and you breathe, exhale, you kind of see the vapor. That's the root word of the meaning of vanity. It just is there for a moment and it disappears. It's like a puff of smoke. Poof, and it's gone. And the author of this book is a little bit like that. He's pessimistic about all of our earthly efforts, all the work that we do. It's futile. You work, and I think most of us enjoy work. It's part of co-creating with God, is it not? Hopefully, making the world a better place to live. But the author of this book is saying, you work all your life, then when you die, somebody else gets what you have, and they don't appreciate it. I know a parishioner at St. William's who said publicly, not just to me, but publicly, I'm going to leave my inheritance to my children, but I'm going to put it in a trust, and they will not receive it until they're 65 years of age. And we see that our second reading and the gospel kind of resonates. They resonate with each other. This person in the gospel walks up to Jesus, and he seems to be having a squabble with his brother about the inheritance. And Jesus says, well, why are you asking me? I have a friend who is a lawyer in Belton, and his specialty is working with families that have disputes about inheritance. Told me, I have about 50 cases that I'm working on, and some of them take as long as 2 years to resolve. Brothers arguing, sisters arguing, brother arguing with sister, saying some very hurtful things. Will they ever reconcile? Will they ever be at peace? They're fighting over the inheritance. Hurtful. Disrupts the family, divides the family. So Jesus has that parable about the man who had a rich harvest and tears down the small barns, builds bigger barns. It's like the gospel and the readings talk about wealth, possessions. I think in themselves they're okay. We enjoy the good things of life, creation. But it's when we become possessive, when we hold on to them, we grasp them. Jesus is saying, no, be detached. Be detached from these earthly possessions. Store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. So, how are you doing? One way to kind of test yourself is to find out how much time you spend on the things that are important to God and how much time you spend on trying to accumulate things, possessions. Several years ago, I took a time management course, and it was very tedious because they asked me for 2 weeks for my awake hours to record everything I did during 30-minute periods. Tedious. And then when they met with me, they said, this is what we're seeing in your life and how you use your time. And it's difficult when we're in a certain pattern or certain habits to bring about a change. So they didn't tell me what I should do, but they gave me the facts. It said, you decide how you want to use your time. This is what we see that you're doing now. So I made some changes. Spent more time in prayer, more time in homily preparation. So it's a good exercise for all of us to look at how we use our time and how much of the time really is devoted to scriptures, prayer, to having a good relationship with our family members, giving time to those that we love and those who love us. Store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. That's the psalm refrain. So, if today you hear his voice, harden not your heart. The scriptures, the message is pretty clear about our use of our possessions, our wealth, and the need for us to be more attentive to what is important to God. If today you hear that voice from the scriptures, be open, listen, harden not your heart.